Very warm welcome to Amishakil 5858. I am Amir Shackle. Following are the latest news headlines which have been reported by American, European, Canadian, Asian, African, and Australian news channels and all other news agencies. So please, let's go to the news.
Tonight, violent spring catches the South by surprise. Kentucky torn apart after an unexpected tornado, the 45th of the year. As the sun came up, people on the ground stunned. And the damage across the Deep South. The 18-year-old son of a famed actor critically injured. 38 million facing severe storms stretching into the evening. Elon Musk's Doge departure from wielding a chainsaw to getting a key from the president, plus facing questions over reported drug use. The intense witness testimony in the Diddy sex trafficking case, the witness going by the pseudonym Mia, detailing years of abuse and harassment. How Diddy's defense is questioning her today. Some of the worst wildfires in memory in Canada, making air dangerous to breathe in the Midwest. And the honor of a lifetime after 10 years at Nightly News, my final broadcast from Paris to Tokyo, Uvalde to Ukraine. The greatest generation to the wild blue yonder. The news we've covered, the people we've met, and the stories we've told. Your stories. My gratitude to all of you on this special night. We've met the stories we've told. Your stories. My gratitude to all of you on this special night. This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Good evening and welcome. This spring of extraordinarily violent weather is bringing dangerous surprises.
Well, we're just under 90 minutes away from a news conference with President Trump and senior advisor Elon Musk. It's Musk's last day as a special government employee, and President Trump says he's done a terrific job in slimming down our very bloated government. We'll bring that to you live as soon as we have it. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Compagno, and also joining us today, Molly Line, Fox News correspondent, Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Riley Gaines, Outkick contributor and host of Gaines for Girls on Outkick, and Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, chairman of O'Leary Ventures. Now we begin with a temporary legal victory for the Trump administration after two lower courts struck down the president's authority to impose sweeping global tariffs. An appeals court said Trump's tariff agenda could continue while the administration tries to fight those decisions. Now in the meantime, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the White House is exploring other ways to carry out the president's agenda. Watch.
The president's trade policy will continue. We will comply with the court orders, but yes, the president has other legal authorities where he can implement tariffs.
So has the administration then reached the point where you are actually asking your economic advisors to start reviewing other avenues to implement the president's trade policy, or do you want to just see this legal process take place for now?
We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We are doing both. The president has other legal authorities he can use to implement tariffs, and the administration is willing to use those.
And the president reacting to the ruling against his tariff agenda on Truth Social, saying this, quote, "Where do these initial three judges come from? How is it possible for them to have potentially done such damage to the United States of America? Is it purely a hatred of Trump? What other reason could it be?" He continued, "The ruling by the U.S. Court of International Trade is so wrong and so political. Hopefully, the Supreme Court will reverse this horrible, country-threatening decision quickly and decisively." Kevin, so we've been talking about this together for the last couple of days. What do you make of this last development and of the situation in general?
I think the market is taking a stride now in terms of the negotiations going on with places like the EU, India, Japan, Canada, Mexico. They have a stop.
Tonight we have breaking news as we come on this Friday night. The tornado watch right now in the east, Washington, D.C., right up through Philadelphia. The storm's then moving into New York City. Tonight, 45 million Americans on alert right now. The system deadly already. Now the dangerous storms from Florida to the Carolinas right into the northeast this evening. A confirmed EF2 tornado, 115 miles an hour, killing one person, destroying homes.
That's how you know.
Yep. And near Atlanta, a tornado crossing I-75, damaging winds, large hail, and possible twisters right up the I-95 corridor. Lee Goldberg standing by to time this out. Tonight, ABC News learning of a very close call for two passenger jets, a United plane and a SkyWest plane taking off on parallel runways. One passenger plane suddenly turning into the path of the other. They were just seconds apart. The scene in the Oval Office today, President Trump's farewell to Elon Musk. When Elon Musk acknowledged today, also Musk explaining his black eye. Also tonight, the Supreme Court handing the president a major victory on immigration. And when President Trump said today, when asked if he would consider a pardon for Sean Diddy Combs, it made news. Meantime, at the Combs trial today in New York, the searing new testimony, the defense and their cross-examination of the assistant who says Sean Combs repeatedly sexually attacked her. Tonight, former reality show dad Todd Chrisley speaking out after President Trump issued pardons to him and his wife Julie after their convictions for tax evasion and fraud. And what he said is now coming. Tonight, the major news here involving Taylor Swift, the superstar emotional after she revealed what she now controls. Tonight, the alarming scene beside a construction site of major sinkhole, swallowing multiple cars and wrecking nearby buildings at this hour. Tonight here, remembering actress Loretta Swit. From MASH, she won multiple Emmys for the role, and the scene watched by 103 million Americans, the tributes pouring in tonight. And America Strong this evening, could you spell this? Éclaircissement. Éclaircissement. He was the runner-up last year. He came back to win it all this year. You have to see the moment. From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David York.
Fast-moving wildfires across the prairies this Friday night.
The prognosis is not good.
The evacuations, complications, and communities looking after firefighters.
And they've been feeding around 150.
A proposed ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. What it supposedly guarantees and what Hamas is pushing for. Gone from the White House, but definitely not forgotten.
That's present service.
Elon Musk's failed promise and what his exit means for the U.S. Department of Government Efficiency. Plus, quest for the cup.
The Oilers did it again.
The elation over Edmonton's rematch against Florida.
National. Reporting tonight, Sonia Sunder.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. It's only the end of May and we're already facing a dire wildfire situation in Western Canada. Conditions are worsening across the prairies with Saskatchewan and Manitoba under states of emergency. Right now, the worst conditions are in Manitoba, where fierce winds are fanning towering flames, forcing entire communities to flee. More than 40 wildfires are burning out of control across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba tonight. Health workers who had remained beyond Wednesday night's evacuation notice were forced out of Flin Flon near Saskatchewan's border today. Only firefighters and police remain. The mayor says there are real fears chunks of the city will be lost, and further north, even more are on the move.
We do expect some very, very challenging conditions in Flin Flon.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois.
I'm John Dickerson.
It is PM in Washington. Host Musk.
After billionaire Elon Musk helped to cut jobs across 25 federal agencies, hundreds at some, thousands at others, there was one last position to eliminate.
His own. Musk's 130-day run as the head of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, came to an end today.
At an Oval Office farewell, Musk wore a T-shirt that mimicked The Godfather as the president invoked the Terminator, saying of Musk, he'll be back. Weijia Zhang is at the White House. Weijia?
Oh, good evening. President Trump said Elon Musk is not even really leaving because Doge is Musk's, quote, baby. The two had a love fest in the Oval Office, despite Doge falling way short of its expectations. Elon Musk joined President Trump in the Oval Office sporting a Doge father T-shirt and a black eye, Musk says, from his 5-year-old son.
And I said, go ahead, punch me in the face, and he did it.
Who stole the show during Musk's previous appearance in the Oval. Today, it was the fully fledged bromance between Musk and Trump on full display.
Elon's service to America has been without comparison in modern history.
The pair took a victory lap over Doge's predicted savings to the federal budget.
In terms of an FY25 to FY26 delta are over 160 billion, and that's climbing. We expect that number will probably go over 200 billion soon.
But Musk initially predicted Doge could cut $2 trillion. He also claimed the department found a shattering amount of fraud and abuse, while the White House says it has referred over 50 Doge-related instances of alleged fraud to the department.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Bennett.
And I'm Amna Navaz. On the NewsHour tonight, Elon Musk steps down from his official White House role after overseeing a drastic slashing of federal spending and jobs.
Mississippi's governor discusses how Trump administration policy is affecting states, including after natural disasters.
We think that the Trump administration taking a second look at the way in which FEMA operates makes perfect sense to us.
And a Harvard professor who's not shied away from criticizing the university speaks out against President Trump's latest attacks.
This is out of authoritarianism. This is the executive branch trying to throttle civil society organizations.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Israel issued new forced displacement orders for residents in northern Gaza and parts of Gaza City as its assault on the Palestinian territory enters its 601st day. The order set off a panicked evacuation of staff and patients at the Al-Auda hospital, which was the last functioning hospital in North Gaza. Health officials say Israeli attacks on hospitals have killed more than 1,400 medical workers since October 2023. On Thursday, Israeli attacks across Gaza killed at least 70 Palestinians. Airstrikes since dawn today have killed a further 18 people, according to Gaza hospital officials. Al Jazeera reports Israeli troops shot and wounded 20 Palestinians trying to reach an aid distribution point set up by the shadowy U.S. Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. It's the third aid center set up by the group so far. The United Nations has said the foundation's decision to open a handful of aid hubs exclusively in the south of Gaza Strip puts civilian lives in danger and encourages mass displacement by using aid as bait. Meanwhile, Gaza's food crisis continues to worsen as the trickle of aid now entering the territory is far too little for its population of over 2 million people. This is
the news. 11 Sudanese migrants and a Libyan driver are dead after their vehicle collided with a truck in the Libyan desert early on Friday morning. The crash 90 kilometers north of the Libyan town of Kufra is the latest tragedy involving Sudanese fleeing the civil war in their home country. Earlier this month, 7 Sudanese were found dead after their vehicle broke down in the desert, leaving 34 migrants on board stranded for days. Libya has become a transit point for migrants fleeing war and poverty in Africa and the Middle East to seek better lives in Europe. The country shares borders with 6 nations and has a long coastline along the Mediterranean. Thousands of Sudanese have fled to Libya in the last 2 years after civil war broke out in their country, killing thousands, displacing more than 14 million, and pushing parts of the country into famine.
Turkey is growing its attitude to host Moscow, Kyiv, and Washington. Has removed Kyiv and Moscow.
Flavors like menthol, bubble gum, and cotton candy are turning them into youth-friendly for guys. Flavors get harder.
Current users, these products are addictive
And society pushing back against industry interference.
Ban all flavors in tobacco, nicotine, and related products. Prohibit all advertising, promotions, and sponsorships, especially across social media. And implement plain packaging. So altogether, let's strip away the glamour and expose the dangers of tobacco.
With around 8 million tobacco-related
increase into 4. Defence Secretary says Britain will be spending 3% of GDP on the military by 2034. Taylor Swift announces that she's brought back the rights to all the music she's ever made.
And in sport, defending French Open champion Carlos Alcaraz needed 4 sets to get the better of the Bosnian Damir Jumur and reach the 4th round. And we are going to have all the action later in the hour.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on The Breakfast Show. To France 24 all welcome. If you're adjusting in now, I'm Becca Helen. You're watching Daybreak. Here are the top world headlines. Washington's Israel-backed plan for a Gaza ceasefire is still under review by Hamas, but Donald Trump says a deal is close to being finalised. Israel has threatened us, saying the group must accept the terms or be, quote, annihilated. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says China is rehearsing the real deal for a Taiwan takeover and to upend the balance of power in Asia, but he says the US will stand by its Indo-Pacific allies. And could it finally be Paris Saint-Germain's year to take the Champions League title? We met with young football fans hopeful for glory for the top French side in Saturday night's upcoming final against Italy's Inter Milan. Thank you for joining us. We'll be starting this bulletin in the Middle East. Hamas says it's still examining the Bay of Fires to start Sunday, June 15.
Today, Australia's Trade Minister says President Trump's plan to double steel and aluminium tariffs to 50% is not the act of a friend. Health officials say at least 70 people have been killed by Israeli strikes in the past day. The mother accused of murdering her 3-year-old daughter unrestricted whilst underway. Record-breaking floods last week in New South Wales. Australian ministers hit back at US President's plan to increase tariffs on steel imports as unjustified and not the act of a friend.
This is Asia Now.
It's 2 p.m. in Singapore and let us out. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warns against what he calls the imminent threat of China, urging Indo-Pacific allies to boost their military spending as he lays out America's vision for the region at the Shangri-La dialogue.
We must ensure that China cannot dominate us or our allies and partners. Maintaining the status quo requires strength. That's just a rational, common sense goal that we should all be able to live with.
Raising the stakes in the tariff war, US President Donald Trump says he will double the duty on steel imports to 50% after he accused
Thank you very much for giving time to Amir Shackle 5858. I am Amir Shackle. Have a good life. Bye-bye.